in the Midnight Hour, written by Super Alex 64. The young and lovely Cindy Bear shivered as she wrapped her red cloak around her body while walking out on this cold Valentine's Day night. She wasn't even supposed to be out here, but there was something she had to try out, and she had to do it tonight. "So, here we are," she said, as soon as she got to the place she was headed for, the cemetery. It did seem a bit strange that someone like her would come to this place at this late hour, but as far as Cindy is concerned, she was a perfectly good reason to come here. The other day, she'd found a book on Valentine's Day rites and superstitions, and she was so curious that she just had to look into it. She was very fascinated by them, though she didn't like the one about seeing squirrels and having to marry a stingy person. "Guess I have to avoid the squirrels then," she said. At the time, though, she didn't like the idea. It came off as very rude. But still, she didn't want to marry someone who wouldn't treat her right. But it's just a superstition, right? There was this one rite that interested her. On midnight, a girl could conjure up a vision of her future husband by visiting a cemetery on Valentine's Day Eve by singing a special chant whilst running around the church 12 times. Yes, it's ridiculous, but Cindy got it into her head that she had to try this. But is she woman enough to handle this? Only one way to find out. She entered the cemetery, and no, she's not shaking because she's scared. She was only shaking because it was a little bit cold. That's all. It took her a while, but she found the church, and luckily for her, it was almost midnight, so she could still try this. She managed to remember her chant, and as soon as it was time, she began her run. She certainly wasn't running as fast as she could, and she wasn't yelling out her chant because she was scared. No way. Still, before she knew it, she was already finishing up her 12th lap. Now, all she had to do was close her eyes and wait, for soon she will see her future husband. Hopefully, it will be the man of her dreams. No, she knows that her husband will be the man of her dreams. She is sure of it. But before she could come close to seeing her vision, a familiar voice called out to her.
"Cindy, are you out here? I heard you screaming."
Cindy opened her eyes and saw that it was Yogi Bear, looking around, very certain, until he finally spotted her. Running up to her, clearly relieved, he asked,
"What are you doing out here at this hour in a place like this?"
He didn't bother there to hide how creeped out he was. Cindy simply said, "I could ask you the same question."
"Oh, well, I saw you headed out for here, so I followed, but then I heard you scream."
At first, she simply blinked at his explanation, but then she giggled, saying, "My hero." Yogi then took this as an opportunity to escort her out of the cemetery. As they left, Cindy realized that, while she didn't get her vision, she was far from disappointed as soon as she remembered what day it was. She softly said, "Happy Valentine's Day, Yogi." The end.